Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. I am David Conklin, President of Dutchess Community College, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2014 State of the County Address. We are honored that the State of the County Address this year will be delivered at Dutchess Community College by County Executive Mark Molinaro. As many of you know, Mark is a graduate of the college and a member of the Dutchess Community College Alumni Hall of Fame. I especially want to recognize those in the audience tonight who are graduates of Dutchess Community College or who are attending Dutchess Community College now. We are honored that you are here tonight and that you selected to attend Dutchess Community College. My role this evening is to serve as Master of Ceremonies and introduce those individuals who will participate in the program, as well as recognize the elected officials who could be with us. So to begin, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Thomas LeGrand, Chairperson of the Dutchess Community College Board of Trustees, who will add his welcome to the college on behalf of his fellow trustees and the entire college community. Tom.
Thank you, Dr. Conklin, and welcome to all the attendees tonight. I am Tom LeGrand, and I have the honor and the privilege to be the chairman of the Dutchess Community College Board of Trustees. I want to offer a special thank you to my good friend, a DCC alumni, and our county executive, Mark Molinaro. Mark, it is a special honor for the college to have your State of the County address at Dutchess Community College. And I'd like to welcome the members of the county legislature that are here tonight. And I want to thank you and your chairman, Mr. Rob Rollison, who is also a valued member of my Board of Trustees, for your continued support of this important organization. For 58 years, Dutchess Community College has offered a high-quality, affordable education to all our students, both young and old. We are a friend of single moms who struggle to find a better life. And here at Dutchess Community College, not only do students get a quality education, but they get prepared for life and all of its challenges. In my view, as a taxpayer and someone who's been affiliated for the college for over 20 years, this is the best investment of county dollars, bar none. Our studies show that dollars spent on higher education benefit the community in many ways. Graduates have higher rates of long-term employment, more likely to find employment with health benefits, less likely to get in trouble with the law, less likely to put a burden on the social service system, and they're more likely to stay in their community. And a few examples of that is our county executive, Marcus Molinaro, our former county executive, Bill Steinhaus, Judge Christine Sproat, and County Attorney Jim Fedortek, just to name a few of the thousands that have walked through these doors and stayed and made our community a better place to live. We have a dedicated professional staff that goes over and above the call of duty on a daily basis to prepare these students for life. And one of the special things that I have about being chairman is I get letters of testimony from the parents of these students and from some of the students themselves saying how this organization or this professor or this instructor has reached out and changed that person's life forever. This is a special place, and we are fortunate to have it in our community, and under the leadership of Dr. Conklin, it is really a world-class college. I want to thank you, and I want to welcome you to Dutchess Community College, and thank you for attending.
We are joined tonight by a number of elected officials from all levels of government. And on behalf of all of us, I want to thank our elected officials for their service and for being here this evening. As I introduce our elected officials, I would ask that each stand and remain standing, and please hold your applause until all have been recognized. New York State Senator Terry Gibson, New York State Assemblywoman Dee Dee Barrett, Surrogate Court and Acting Supreme Court Judge James Pagonis, and our county-wide officials are Sheriff Adrian Butch Anderson, Comptroller Jim Coughlin, District Attorney William Grady, County Clerk Brad Kendall. We also have with us tonight former Congresswoman Dr. I'll ask all of the members of the county legislature to please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, our elected officials. I would now ask Dutchess County Sheriff Adrian Butch Anderson to come to the stage for the presentation of the colors, and he will be joined by the leadership of the Dutchess County Legislature, Majority Leader Angela Flesland, Minority Leader Barbara Jeter Jackson, and Chairman Rob Rollison, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sergeant, present the colors.
Sheriff's color guard, advance the colors. Detail. Reset. Ho!
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Detail. What up? Ho! Left. Hey! Bring them out. Forward. Out. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, the color guard of the men and women of the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Rabbi Hecht of the Rhinebeck Jewish Center, who will offer a prayer for the community. Rabbi Hecht?
Driving here this evening, I turned on the radio for a moment, and I heard that the lottery jackpot is $240 million. Now, don't run out to go buy tickets, but it did remind me of a very interesting story. The town Schlamazel, which is the town loser, had terrible, terrible luck. Everything he touched, it turned into the worst investments whatsoever. Finally, he told himself, I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. This was back in the olden days when you couldn't just get an automatic number at the gas station. So he went ahead and started picking numbers. He picked the 4 numbers required, and guess what? They announced the winners, and sure enough, he wins. He wins a total of $1 million. The entire town gets together in the college, at the theater, to present him with the check. And they present him with the check, and they say, Town Schlamazel, town loser, how did you pull it off? He said, very simple. My mother taught me it's a little bit of math and a little bit of mazel, a little bit of luck. So, number one represents God. I picked the number 1. Then, 7 is a great number. It shows a full week, 7 colors to the rainbow. I'm going to pick the number 7. And since 7 is such a good number, 7 times 7 is 48, so I picked 48. So they said, Shlamazel. I don't understand. 7 times 7 is 49. He said, that's where the luck comes into play. Since it's considered a prayer for the community rather than the typical invocation, I'm going to share another story. A new family just moved into Millbrook. They bought themselves a magnificent estate, a horse farm on 250 acres. They have a child that's 8 years old, and they're going to send him to school. But they decide rather than to send him to a private school, they should send him to the school district, since we have such good school districts here in Dutchess County, and they send him to the local public school. The first day of school, they call him in. They say, listen, young Johnny, just know you can't stand out too much. If anybody asks you anything about you, say that you're very poor. Don't tell them that you're rich. It's going to be bad for you in school. Sure enough, he goes to school the first day, goes really well. 2 weeks into school, the teacher decides to make a class and get together, and each student has to talk about themselves and their family. Comes to little Johnny's turn and gets up, and he says, my family, they're very poor. My driver is very poor. My butler, he's also very poor. The chef, oh, how poor he is. Ladies and gentlemen, God should bless us with such prosperity that we have to say that our butler, our driver, our chef, everything that we have is very poor. And hopefully, under the leadership of Marcus Molinaro, County Exec, we will truly come to this time that everybody has total prosperity to enjoy. Thank you.
And now it is my honor to introduce Ellen Nesbitt, Dutchess County Legislator for District 1 for the town of Poughkeepsie. This is the district within which Dutchess Community College is located, and fittingly, Ellen is a student at Dutchess Community College. Ellen?
Thank you, Dr. Conklin. And before I begin, I just want to recognize Orange County Executive Steve Newhouse. Steve, thank you for being here. It is a pleasure to be here this evening. As a student of Dutchess Community College and one of the newest members of the Dutchess County Legislature, the mission of Dutchess County government is paramount to all I do. The mission of Dutchess County government is to provide quality, responsive services to the residents, businesses, and visitors in a fiscally responsible manner, while striving to preserve our heritage, promote economic development, and enhance the quality of life for current and future generations. In this difficult economic environment, we are all facing tough challenges. Yet, Dutchess County government is working diligently to fulfill its mission to you through the delivery of critical services that impact people's lives. Let's take a quick look at how your county government is striving to make a positive difference every day.
Rising up in the morning, we find the meaning of community in Dutchess County. This winter has been one for the record books, with the weather keeping the county busy. The tireless work of county employees has ensured all essential services have been available to residents. County highway crews worked long hours to keep the roads open, making sure people could get to work and where they needed to go.
Probably the worst snowfall of the year, so I thought it would be a really great time to go out and see how hard these guys work.
Get people home safely, get them to work safely? Absolutely.
911 dispatchers and first responders have been there to answer emergency calls and ensure public safety.
Dutchess 911, what is the address of the emergency?
The work of county government continues every day with a commitment to providing quality services to our residents. Our community is made up of people who serve others. At the heart of it all, we take care of each other.
So good to see you.
You too. How are you doing?
The Office for the Aging provides an array of community-based services for the elderly to promote independence, dignity, and quality of life.
I have always liked to do for myself. I'd like to do it as long as I can.
Senior Friendship Centers across the county provide transportation and daily activities to our parents, grandparents, and friends. Hundreds of meals a day are prepared and delivered by volunteers throughout Dutchess County to seniors who are homebound.
Thank you. I didn't expect you to come today.
I didn't expect to get
Because this weather was bad.
In our community, county services are making a difference in people's lives. Today, Lily Andrews is working with her vision therapist, John Kelly, a resource provided by the Department of Health's Early Intervention Program.
It was broken and you fixed it. I know, you're so good at that.
My daughter Lily was born at 25 weeks. She was going to have delays because she was born, 4 months early. She was definitely in need of physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. She gets orientation and mobility, and she's learning Braille, she's learning to use a cane, and she's already so much further than where the doctors had thought she'd ever be. And I honestly owe it all to early intervention.
Looking to the future, agency partnership grants provide young people training in 21st century skills that will help them succeed in our community. In the village of Millerton, the Northeast Community Center has been awarded an agency partnership grant to expand its job mentorship program. Teenagers learn job preparedness skills and work at local businesses.
Have the opportunity to attend workshops where they write resumes and do mock interviewing, but then they also do real interviewing when they apply.
How you need to dress to go to an interview, how your resume should be. I just feel more needed, and I like helping people.
We are creating positions that do not otherwise exist.
Our young adults are getting a quality education on the campus of one of the most dynamic two-year colleges in the country.
I was looking for somewhere along the lines of a film program, and the communications program here it was perfect for me. For the lowest tuition, it's pretty amazing. I'm not paying much, I'm getting a great education, and it's at a great place.
Students enter the workforce better prepared, and local businesses are making a conscious effort to stay in Dutchess County, like Taylor Manufacturing, with a facility in Poughkeepsie and North Carolina.
Taylor Manufacturing has been based here in Dutchess County for years. They own property in the Carolinas, and they have decided, because they need to expand, that they're going to sell their property in the Carolinas and expand here in Dutchess County. Yes, you can do manufacturing here in Dutchess County, so we can show others you can do it here too.
County partnerships with local governments are improving efficiencies and reducing costs. The Dutchess County's Municipal Consolidation and Shared Services Grant Program funds upgrades to the Tri-Municipal Wastewater Treatment System and the Firehouse Consolidation Plan in Beacon.
The idea of consolidation used properly in the right circumstances is a good thing. It can lead to higher efficiency, and it will do that in this case.
In all of government, to be more efficient, we have to look for ways to consolidate to save taxpayers' money, but still provide the people with efficient and safe services.
Honoring the Buffalo soldiers of his ancestry, Vietnam veteran James Haywood is decorated with medals long thought lost. Dutchess County Veteran Services ensures our county veterans and their families receive all of the benefits they are entitled to for their dedicated military service. Whether it is assistance with health care benefits or obtaining long overdue medals, we are here to serve. Working together, our community thrives. Taking time for fun and recreation adds to the fullness of our lives. Our county parks provide endless hours of enjoyment for families and friends.
Park is the best hill for sledding.
Yeah, it really is.
At the end of the day, we realize all of these sights and sounds define who we are, the character of our people, the beauty of our environment, and the critical services provided by Dutchess County government on a daily basis. All help to create this great community we call home, a community you help serve. Our community, Dutchess County.
A great reminder of the services provided each and every day, and those were just a few highlights. Tonight we'll hear more about the work being done to preserve core services and make Dutchess County an attractive community for my generation and many generations to come. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Dutchess County Executive, Mark Molinaro, for the 2014 State of the County Address.
Would you join me again in thanking Ellen? She's been a great addition to the legislature. There was a time that I was a young elected official. There was a time, about 20 years ago. I want to thank you and welcome you to the 2014 State of the County Address and here at Dutchess Community College. If you wouldn't mind joining me in thanking the men and women behind the scenes, both from our office but also from Dutchess, here at Dutchess Community College, for making this presentation come together today. And thank you, Tom and Dr. Conklin. We appreciate all of your help. I told my son that I was going to be giving a speech in a theater, and he said to me this morning that in order to get into a theater you need a ticket. So he made this ticket for me. I haven't checked in yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be here. I haven't found a seat yet, but it reminded me certainly and how important the work that we do really is. The video that you saw really highlights the dedicated men and women who work and serve Dutchess County, its government, and its people. But everyone in this room, all, I don't know, 1,400 of you, I was exaggerating. All of you in this room, in one way or another, serve to make this community great. Each of you contributes to its success. Each of you has been a part of its robust and rich past. And each of you, if we can at times tone down the noise and focus directly on caring for one another, each of you can be a part of making Dutchess County the best it can be for this generation and the generations that follow. My son and my daughter depend on the work that we do. And I was reminded that those 20 years ago when I started as an elected official, there was a passion that drove me to service. A real deep concern for the people who lived in the village of Tivoli. And at times, and certainly over the last couple of months, that passion, that desire, that drive could be tempered just a little bit. But it's these moments where we're supposed to take stock of who we are and how we hope to live. It's these moments where we're supposed to put aside party differences, personal backgrounds, who's running for what when, and focus clearly on the people who are struggling in our county. We've asked a lot of them, but I love this job, and I ran for it because I wanted to make a difference. And the men and women of the Dutchess County Legislature, led by its chairman, Rob Rollison, Sheriff Butch Anderson, our County Comptroller, Jim Coughlin, District Attorney Bill Grady, County Clerk Brad Kendall, and so many others, have committed to service to make a difference in this community. There are 20 town supervisors, 8 village and 2 city mayors, countless business leaders, community advocates, and this county's 1,700 dedicated employees who all recognize the need to build on the past, improve our current condition, and bring about the great Dutchess County comeback. I thank all of you, for your service and dedication. You deserve a round of applause. You have given so much. The county charter requires I give a State of the County address. I argued that I know that some of you, in fact, the sheriff knows this, I kind of like to stand behind a podium and talk into a microphone. I know that you might find that to be a surprise. But the truth of the matter is, this is the least effective way I can deliver the state of our county, and it's also not the way I feel most comfortable doing it. For 12 years, I served as a village mayor. I served in a very personal way. I prefer delivering to you the state of the county at the grocery store, or at the diner, at Dunkin' Donuts, or maybe at a town hall meeting. I prefer doing it where it's most comfortable for you. Because the promise that I made when I came into office was to create a county government that was accountable and responsive to you. At times you'll see our warts, at times you'll see our mistakes, at times you will want to scream. But I want a government that reacts to that is open to that all of us who hold office in this county understand that it is your ideas, your beliefs, your concerns, and yes, your criticisms that are supposed to drive us, and never, ever lose that. So pardon me for the PowerPoint and the podium, but over the course of the next few weeks, over the course of the next months, and yes, over the next year and a half that I have to serve with this honor as your county executive, we're going to every house, we're going to every community, we're going to every neighborhood, and we're going to explain the state of our county, which is fragile. And while there are some who believe that the recession is over, in this county, too many people can point to specific challenges that they face. I can assure you there are promising specifics, but Dutchess County and its residents continue to face recessionary conditions. The Department of Community and Family Services has seen its caseload increase 70% since 2007. Calls to the Department of Mental Hygiene's 24/7 helpline are up 46% since 2007, with the types of calls coming in becoming more and more severe in nature. The stress is on all of us. While unemployment shows a slight rebound, the future of our largest private sector employer remains uncertain, and too many Dutchess County families are struggling to get back to work. The county's tax base continues to shrink, down nearly $9 billion since 2008. Makes you wonder why I want to stand in front of you, give you all this great news. County government, though, has been able to somewhat shield residents and taxpayers from the brunt of the recession's impact on county services. We've done so by cutting back on operational spending, consolidating, and finding greater efficiencies through technology and shared services. But now the budget options we have before us are distasteful and unpopular. Last year, through consolidation and reorganization of departments and services, we reduced our workforce by 103 positions, making us the smallest in over 30 years, saving $6.8 million annually and $38 million over the next 5 years. While we continue to deliver new efficiencies, consolidations, and cost savings, we will not make irresponsible decisions only to undermine the quality and character of our community. Some believe that it's okay to exaggerate revenue and under-project expenditures. Some believe it's okay to merely speak in hollow rhetoric, to suggest that problems can be solved by waving a wand. They can't. The challenges that face this government is not greater, in any means, than the challenge facing individual families and businesses throughout Dutchess County. But I can assure you this county government will not pass the buck, and I will take responsibility for the decisions I have to make. I ask of you this. Take responsibility with us. Work together as a community to confront the great challenges that face us, and do not allow the politics and the rhetoric of the day to distract us from the heavy lifting that must occur. Instead, we have to roll up our sleeves, get to work, and lead, committing ourselves to fulfill a mission to preserve our heritage, promote economic development, and enhance the quality of life for current and future generations. Now, in 2012, I inherited a county budget the previous administration balanced by using a one-time revenue measure. The nearly $27 million appropriation of fund balance virtually wiped out our reserves. This contributed to a bond rating downgrade. The use of fund balance is sort of like using your entire savings account to pay for your bills without actually driving down your cost. In their bond rating review, Moody's stressed the need for Dutchess County to rebuild its fund balance and expand its tax base. Of course. The state comptroller and rating agencies recommend we maintain a fund balance of 5 to 10% of the total budget. The need for an appropriate level of savings couldn't be any more clear this winter. It's to manage cash flow, protect against unforeseen expenses, loss of revenue, and respond to man-made or natural emergencies. That's why it is important we focus on fiscal stability, and the 2014 budget does not use any general fund balance to offset an initial $27 million gap. Believe me, that would have been the easy way, and we would have preferred some fund balance. But what's critical is that we ensure fiscal security for the county. This is a $400 million business with 1,700 employees, and all of you as taxpayers demand that we have a government that functions effectively and efficiently and keeps in mind its short-term and long-term financial security. Maintaining a strong bond rating and adequate fund balance is critical to this county's fiscal security. In order to balance the budget, the county did ask for alternative revenues, but needed state approval for those to be enacted. Those requests were denied. So we move on, confronting historical rates of spending and taxation while preserving core services without one-shot revenue options, use of budget gimmicks, or help from Albany, left us with tough choices and distasteful options. With no reserves and no additional assistance from Albany, we cut jobs, we cut departments, we cut programs, and we cut dollars, a lot of them. As we confronted this challenge for 2014, we cut expenses by $3.9 million, reduced our debt payments, and eliminated another 7.6 positions. Our goal then, in all of this, bend the curve in spending and tax growth. Continue to reduce spending, create a more efficient and effective organization, and stop unsustainable property tax increases. Achieving this goal responsibly takes time, and I appreciate you'd like it to move a lot quicker, but we are making progress, significant progress. This county has been fortunate to have great and dedicated individuals committed to serving, committed to managing, and committed to overseeing our county's finances. At this point, I'd like to extend our thanks and appreciation to the Department of Finance Commissioner Pam Barrack for her years of dedicated service to the people of Dutchess County. She will retire this May, and Pam, we are thankful for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Pam. This is my favorite chart. 70%. Have you heard this before? 70% of net county costs are mandated by the state and federal government. And while that mandate continues to push down on us, core county programs and services are being crowded out. Now, I recognize and believe that government can't be all things to all people, but this county government must be able to fulfill its core mission for its people. We must continue providing those critical services our families, friends, and neighbors depend on. So I'd like to make a suggestion. Instead of expecting us, county governments and local taxpayers, to carry their burden, I suggest Albany and Washington pay for their programs. And since they haven't, Dutchess County was put in a difficult position and was forced to pick among unpopular decisions in order to balance the 2014 budget. This is my least favorite slide. The Poughkeepsie Journal described the 2014 budget as responsible, yet painful. Acting responsibly is an expectation we should all have of our government. But I recognize the pain just doesn't seem to get any better. Running a county government, running any government like a business, requires we make tough choices. And I don't have any intention from running from them. I believe that we have to work together to confront the challenges that face us. And I believe that we've created a government that is open to all of you. So we accept the criticism. In fact, we welcome it. Anyone in elected office who thinks they can hide from criticism is making a mistake. In fact, it is that kind of challenge, that criticism, that pressure placed on those of us who are accountable to each and every taxpayer, it's that criticism that holds us accountable. that keeps us honest and makes us believe that there is still opportunity, there is still a chance to make a difference, and that by keeping the pressure on government, government will respond effectively. So I've listened to the phone calls, I've taken the letters, and I, despite every commitment not to read the paper from time to time, read it. Every call, every email, every letter coming into our office has been responded to. But more importantly than that, and I challenge everyone else who holds elected office, we've listened. We've listened carefully, knowing that the challenges that we face and the pressure placed on residents needs to be confronted. We're all in this together. I sacrifice like you do. Our families sacrifice like yours. And we are committed to improving our condition and making things better. The repeal of a 1974 sales tax exemption on residential energy costs is unwanted. It is, by every account, unpopular. But I stand before you today with a pledge. I will do everything in my power to eliminate this tax. There was a reason we chose the path we chose. Do not let the pressure off the backs of the decision makers. Do not roll tax increases into property taxes because it's unsustainable. The history has shown that. The pressure on the business community, the pressure on economic development is keeping us from rebounding. Keep the pressure on elected officials, hold us accountable, demand that every dollar be spent effectively, and ask for us to respond. Don't hide from it. Make sure the public understands that we will make the difficult choices, and the only way through these challenges is to stand face forward, be honest, and responsive to the people. And that is the commitment I made coming into office and will uphold every day you've given me this honor. Now we do have a strategy. That's probably not surprising to you. We have a strategy to accomplish this and provide greater tax relief. Advocate for mandate relief, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Transform local government. Yes, change the way government functions and incentivize economic growth. It is time for a great rebound. Now, without relief from oppressive mandates, we will never achieve the government we are owed. Bless you. And gesundheit. So why do I say this? Every aspect of what we do in county government is impacted by some decision or mandate from Albany. I'm not placing blame. And it occurred to me that mandate sounds like a term that you use as a scapegoat. I'm not doing that either. Every aspect of what we do in county government is impacted by some decision someone in Albany or Washington makes. Everything. There is no way for us to freely and effectively provide your core services without going through processes and procedures and jumping through hoops that make it more difficult. We're not asking for anything special. We're just saying that when another layer of government makes the decisions and sets the parameters for a service they then force someone else to pay for, it becomes ripe for waste, fraud, and abuse. And it's this lack of accountability that must be addressed. It must be addressed in order to get the government you deserve. So we talk a lot about mandates in broad terms, and I realize that some think we should talk more about it. Other people have said I should talk less about it. But I'd like to talk specifically about one example. Mandated special education preschool for children under the age of 5. The state constitution requires that New York provide a public education to every child. In order to prepare those young people with special needs to enter into public education, we employ both the early intervention services that you saw in the video as part of a public health expense and preschool special education, which is a public education requirement, having nothing to do with county government. I have been blessed every day to be challenged by a now 9-year-old little girl who has benefited from special education preschool. She would not be prepared to enter the Red Oak Central School District were it not for St. Francis Preschool. Preparing her to enter the schools, preparing her and carrying her through now 4th grade. Every child with any level of need deserves that kind of assistance. But why are counties paying the bill? According to the New York State Association of Counties, local governments, including New York City, will pay $2 billion for this state program, with Dutchess County charged $7 million. Beyond the fiscal impacts to the counties, the current structure has created a divide, causing great disparity between those children with and without special needs. The state legislature and the governor are now considering universal pre-kindergarten at the request of the mayor of New York. This is our opportunity to finally get it right. Integrate special education preschool with preschool. And more importantly than that, integrate special education with public education, not public health. By taking back the cost of special education preschool, New York State would pay for the program, address a division in service, and enable Dutchess County government to restore the sales tax exemption on residential energy sources. Yes, the savings would go back to you. And I'd like to thank and acknowledge Assemblywoman Dee Dee Barrett for presenting our case to the Assembly majority. Dee Dee, thank you for that. If the state is going to open the door to discussing and providing special education's universal pre-kindergarten for every child in the state deserves it, including my daughter and the kids like her. This is a public education need that results in tax relief for all of you. Now, if Albany did this or provided relief from any number of other unfunded mandates, we would guarantee tax relief, and I'd offer one other thing. We'd extend to the governor and state legislature all the credit. I'm not looking for a press release or a photograph. Instead, we'd even highlight it all on your property tax bill to tell you thank you for getting this done. Now listen, there are some who have suggested to me I should stop talking about mandates. It's like continuing to get beat up by a bully and just saying to the bully, okay, thanks for hitting me, I'll come back tomorrow. But we can't. And we won't, because we are committed to this fight. And so are our state legislators. Senators Terry Gibson and Greg Ball, Terry, thank you for being here, have made this their priority. Assembly members Dee Dee Barrett, Kevin Cahill, Frank Skartatos, and Kieran Lawler have made this their priority, fighting for mandate relief. Each has sponsored specific relief proposals, and we thank them for that. These, along with other measures, would enable us to eliminate the sales tax on residential energy and cut property taxes. They need to be adopted. So in the weeks ahead, we will continue our advocacy efforts. We will be calling, emailing, and letting residents know when and how to help to get these bills passed. If we are to get relief, they have to get it done. We have to advocate. And we will continue to motivate state legislative leaders to pay attention to these proposals, ladies and gentlemen, your proposals, and help our state representatives get the bills adopted. Now, since 2012, over every objection in my body, I personally returned to Albany to lobby for relief and assistance with some success. And I'd like to thank specifically Senator Greg Ball for his help in funding mental health services in Dutchess County. This year, I was asked by NYSAC, New York State Association of Counties, to lead our statewide effort for special education preschool relief and realignment. And again, Dee Dee, thank you for your assistance. Last month, I testified on behalf of NYSAC on this and other mandate relief proposals, and tomorrow, I will lead Dutchess County's delegation at Senator Ball's Mandate Relief Lobby Day. Dutchess County is aggressively focused on mandate relief because it is our path to tax relief and government reform. With immense fiscal challenges, the stress so many in our community face, and a struggling economy, we are committed to making government smaller, smarter, and more successful. From the reorganization and consolidation of departments to making funding competitive and incentivizing shared services, our multi-year transformation of county government is taking hold and making a difference. The first round of our agency partner grant program was a success. Over 18 organizations applied, with 10 receiving funds for projects to improve life in our community. This year's round of grant applications are currently under review, with 17 agencies applying for just over $700,000. The competitive grant program converted our process of funding services through not-for-profits from sort of this member item approach that used to go on, doesn't go on any longer in Albany, or earmarks, the way they used to do it in the federal government, to an outcome-based competitive grant enhancing accountability and maximizing the benefit of each tax dollar granted to any agency. I'd like to extend our thanks to the Community Development Advisory Committee, its chairwoman, Town of Red Oak Supervisor Sue Crane, the staff of the Department of Planning and Development, and the Dutchess County Coalition of Not-for-Profits for their support, cooperation, and effort. Thank you for the work that you've done. We appreciate it. Someone else in county government who has dedicated her life to serving and really is a Dutchess County success story, the Commissioner of our Department of Planning and Development, Keely Solomon, is retiring this year. And Keely, we'd like to extend our thanks and appreciation to you as well. You have made an impact on the life of this community. Now, in light of changes in health insurance, the Federal Affordable Care Act, the state closure of psychiatric centers in our county, reduction in mental health beds at St. Francis Hospital, and the high cost of our mental hygiene department, last year we announced we would seek to create a more cost-effective and integrated delivery of public and behavioral health services. St. Francis Hospital's bankruptcy and its purchase by Westchester Medical Center, along with the uncertainty of federal and state funding streams, an increase in suicides, and crisis in chemical dependency, make it critical that we integrate our health and mental hygiene departments. By aligning their efforts with the work of the Department of Community and Family Services and Emergency Response, along with the great work of Imagine Dutchess, the next chapter of healthcare in our county can revolutionize the way we confront public and mental health. Thanks to the Dyson Foundation last year, we engaged the Center for Government Research to help determine the feasibility of merging the two departments. CGR's final report establishes a baseline of current services and presents a spectrum of options ranging from the status quo to full merger of the two departments under a single commissioner. CGR ultimately recommends just that. Consolidate the departments under a single commissioner. Now, with the unanimous endorsement from our Health and Human Services Advisory Team, this is a group of individuals we pulled together 2 years ago, external to county government, experts in the field of health and mental health, to review the proposal, and they have unanimously endorsed this concept. We intend to carefully proceed with this proposal. It is critically important that we save mental health services in this county. It is critically important that we take mental illness out of the shadows and bring it full forward, in fact, front stage, in a community that is in desperate need of that assistance. It is critical that the individuals in our county who deal every day with mental illness have the support, the service, and the dignity that they deserve. And bringing it forward will help us to accomplish just that. As expensive as it is necessary to find efficiencies and obviously to drive down costs. But what is more critical, and most critical to me, is that this county confront mental illness with the same strength, the same commitment, and the same dedication as it does public health. And I have to tell you, every aspect of Dutchess County, every family, every neighborhood is impacted by mental health issues. And I am personally, as we are all, grateful to Commissioners Ken Glatt of the Department of Mental Hygiene and Dr. Ken Glatt and Dr. Kari Reber from the Department of Health. Ladies and gentlemen, they do wonderful work. And they too are committed to ensuring that we get the best out of this proposal and create the most responsive department we can to meet the public health needs of Dutchess County. Now, long before I became county executive, the size and outdated nature of our jail facility had been the source of excess cost and much concern. In fact, I think we were responsible, the issue of jail housing out, responsible for a number of very thick publications of the Poughkeepsie Journal and Daily Freeman, the number of stories that were written about this county jail. Today, our jail budget is over $40 million, and we employ 233 corrections officers. Our total number of inmates incarcerated, though, is less than the national and state average. However, due to a lack of capacity, we must house out inmates in county jails across New York. On any given day, over 200 inmates above the 250 already in our jail facility housed out in counties across the state. And with those inmates goes your tax dollars. The cost of housing inmates out in other counties has climbed to $8.2 million a year. Housing out is detrimental to the inmates and their families. Housing out weakens our criminal justice system, threatens our fiscal security and public safety, and it wastes your tax dollars. Housing out of inmates is not a solution. It is the avoidance of a solution. It is time we expand the size of our jail, drastically improve the ratio of COs to inmates, and do so by designing and building a facility with the right beds for the specific inmate populations we house today and project to house in the foreseeable future. To accomplish this, in 2012, the Criminal Justice Council completed an assessment making clear our solution to lack of jail space required a two-track approach. Build new capacity and drive down inmate population with alternatives to incarceration. You'll excuse me for wishing, I have to say God bless you to Joel Tyner because I said God bless you to Rob Weiss, and I wanted to be bipartisan in my... I know Joel was already ready to tweet. Molinaro didn't say bless you. It's a Republican conspiracy. That's it. God bless all of you. And you're desperate to clap for me, I can tell. And in 2012, the Criminal Justice Council completed this assessment. They presented a two-track approach, build a new capacity, and drive down inmate population with alternatives to incarceration. Now, central to any solution is having inmates housed back in Dutchess County. By doing so, we can speed up the judicial process, prepare inmates to successfully return to the community, and reduce recidivism. In order to accomplish this, in the short term, installation of temporary housing pods on the existing jail site will achieve this goal and save $1 million tax dollars annually. I am pleased to announce that we have reached an agreement with the State of New York Commission on Corrections to proceed with the installation of these pods upon county legislative approval. And please. And I want to extend my personal thanks. This is the agreement signed today by Sheriff Butch Anderson and the county executive, working together to solve a problem. And I'm grateful for that, Butch. Chairman Rob Rollison, Butch Anderson, and I ventured off to Albany to make the case. But just the concept of us traveling together, stopping for a cup of coffee together, serving together, meeting around a table together with one message. It is time Dutchess County stop talking about the problem, solve it, and move on. With bipartisan support last July, we moved forward with the next phase of our work. We did eliminate, I know Todd Tancredi's here, we eliminated the Hudson River Psychiatric Center from possible jail expansion sites. This facilitated its sale to a developer working with the town of Poughkeepsie to make a substantial private investment. And subsequent to that, in December, we reached agreement to purchase property adjacent to our current jail, enabling expansion on that current site. In a 24-1 vote, the legislature overwhelmingly approved purchasing the property needed to expand jail capacity. I'm thankful to all of you, every member of the county legislature, even the one, for joining us in committing to solve this important problem. Once environmental assessments are completed, we will begin the project definition phase as we discussed. Now, our commitment is twofold. We have a commitment and a promise to the city of Poughkeepsie, which we intend to adhere to, and to all county taxpayers. The commitment to city of Poughkeepsie and county taxpayers is to define and develop a facility with adequate space to house all inmates, a campus to include inmate programs and other criminal justice services in a continuum of incarceration to help inmates reenter the community and drive down recidivism. A campus sensitive to the community and its immediate neighborhood. A mixed-use site where public and private space is created, conforming with the Greater Walkway and City of Poughkeepsie zoning and land use expectations. Our jail, albeit a large and broken component of our criminal justice system, is, though, only one component. Currently, nearly 600 individuals are in alternative programs, and approximately 2,500 others are supervised through the county's Department of Probation. Dutchess County is committed to other critical efforts to curb inmate population growth and successfully promote alternatives to incarceration. I'd like to extend my thanks on behalf of the county to Mary Ellen Still, our Director of Probation and Community Corrections and Chair of the Criminal Justice Council, for her efforts to drive down recidivism and make our robust ATI programs even more successful. Mary Ellen, thank you. Our work in criminal justice can't just focus on the criminal, and I appreciate that we must focus on that end of the system as well. But we must also be responsive to all those in the community that feel, and rightfully so, that local human rights deserve greater attention. To further this effort, we are appointing a Dutchess County Human Rights Officer. Currently, we have in county government an equal employment opportunity and affirmative action position that handles complaints on discrimination